at this range that we could have possible market maker signals that they want to short the market. That's what the red arrows are for. Those could be my indications that, okay, the market makers are selling off orders here, or they're shorting the market to then trade lower. But then, looking of course at this, it looks like a distribution. But if we take a good look at what happened here, because if you have a distribution like this, your technical target would be all the way at the low. But at this time I would disagree, and that is because look at how we set up this bottom. Each time when we go below the low, there was never a candle close, and we took out the liquidity, got a good push up, market makers filling up orders right here, took it out one more time, so everyone that has been longing in this part thinking we're gonna go up has been stopped out as well. But then the third time is when something interesting has happened, and that's also where we got this continuation towards total new all-time highs. And why is that? And that is because of this demand right there. And if you zoom out, this is the demand. This is your last pullback before you actually manage to break new all-time highs on XRP. So the people who have forced price up here towards new all-time highs, you have to think of it this way: if price comes back there, are they willing to defend their orders? And of course, everything they've scaled in here, are they willing to defend the orders and push price up so we can trade into more profits? All right. So this is a beautiful bottom set, and to be honest, you do not want price to come back here, especially after we've did this local part. And let me zoom a little bit in on this, turn the music a little bit down. Because if we take a look at the 4 hour, this is your last price action that actually brought you towards a bullish direction. This is what brought you to new lows. And then this is your last price action before you took out that part. That's also what we swept, because we built a bunch of liquidity here. Makes it interesting for the market makers to come down here. We were also trading above highs here, luring more buyers, taking them out, and then aggressively V-shaping up. So do I want to see price here again on a higher time frame? Definitely not. This is way too bullish to go back to. And as long as we're still holding our levels, then we could still expect upside. And that's where this local part comes in, because why is this chart so interesting? Yes, we have a whole bullish bottom here, but this local part is what makes it interesting for me. If you take a look at how this range is set up, if you make a low and a high and you start trading between those 2 points, you're consolidating. You're building up liquidity on the highs, and you're gonna do so on the lows as well. And then you can see right now, this was the drawn liquidity, and this is a good sign for possible accumulations. And that's also because we are building trend liquidity on the highs until we have taken enough on the lows, which was our swing low right here, to then move towards all of the liquidity on the highs again. And this also aligns with, of course, this whole structure. On the higher time frame, we are still waiting for that higher low, for that higher high. The local price action will tell us where that's going to be. Okay, so a couple of scenarios here. Do I like this bottom here? Yes and no. I like the way we're holding this old low now as support, and I do think we could expect some upside, but we haven't aligned our structure with our previous pull. This is literally our weekly 3-day structure towards those new all-time highs. So it would be important for me to test that back as well, because then you really have no reason to go below it. So let's start sketching in the bullish scenarios on the higher time frame right now. And that would be, let's extend our range because we have a deviation. This could be a market maker signal. And then a scenario is go below this low one more time. Test our old high here. And from there get that change of character and a break back into your range. If this scenario happens while you still build liquidity on the way down, you could have an absolutely banger, because this is literally a liquidity schematic, a market maker schematic. You know what I always say, you're gonna build liquidity on the highs till there's enough taken on the lows, and then price reverses. So this would be a crazy scenario to look at. So keep that in mind. Let's go on the lower time frame now, because there is still a possibility that we could just start trading up there. Next level value, no holding back here. I'm just doing what I'm always doing. This is my job, Laden. Okay. Just start to follow a bit of structure. This is what brought us all the way towards new lows, of course. And on the local time frame, it's this part. You've managed to break it. And from there you have the change of character. And now your trend expectancy is to continue up. We have also tested our old structure back here in combination with our last price action before we actually made the change of character. So is there a reason to pretty much go lower? I would say no. You can also see on the lower time frame, this is all, yeah, it's tested. All tested structures, so that makes this liquidity. That would also mean if we start to lose all of these old lows here, then this scenario comes into play. But for now we're holding them, so let's keep looking at this local picture. It's not taken, that is taken. This is a little part where some manipulation did happen. You traded above the high, took out the low again, testing our demand that brought us higher in the first place. So you could argue there is market maker involvement here. So because of this basically PO3 bottom, then we took out, after that manipulation, our first hold to continue. This is in the way, annoying me. This arrow, to be honest, as well. Took that out, started trading up. That is also taken. Little bit messy price action on the lower time frame here. I wouldn't call that a proper range. Traded below that. Just trying to find the right bias why market did certain things to actually connect with my higher time frame bias, because is this just, are we just gonna leave this behind to go for the scenario we have sketched in on the left, or is this just hunting our extreme liquidity every time so we could just start blasting up? I wouldn't say you have to go back down here all the way, because we're still holding support and we keep on hunting our extreme liquidities. So we do not have to go here. So that would also mean if we manage to hold our local levels here, we could still expect to trade up. Yeah, because since we took up this extreme liquidity, this is one move up. I do not see valid structure in between these 2 points. So new high, we could still expect that higher low for new higher high. We have made equal highs, which indicates probably a little bit more liquidity building. One more grab on the bottom, which could be this right here, to then start running towards those equal highs. I like this bottom, trade it nice and aggressively. It's the 4 hour looking, nothing special. Okay. You know, follow our simple structure terms. This is what brought you to new lows. If we manage to hold this low, this is what needed us to start pushing up, but we didn't. It made new lows, but then we also gained it. So the goal was to grab this liquidity. Strong gain now. So if we manage to stay strong here, hold our levels, we should not go below this line. It's of course your high time frame change of character. This is a trick from the chef. Not gonna say too much about it. Okay. The lower time frame, it is tested back, but if you look at the 4 hour, you still had a bit of price struggle there. We have had this 4 hour imbalance created, of course, our last imbalance before we broke that local structure. So this could be an area to test back. Let's actually look at where all the volume, I think it's right here, but yeah, okay, that's beautiful. That's another reason to not go below this low and just continue from here. Our supply is really high. This is what had to bring you towards new highs. It failed doing so, so sellers stepped in here. Your supply. This was already tested. So that makes this a liquidity point. Swing low, swing high to cut the swing low. It's probable that we could go towards the swing high. Draw liquidity. These two lows are liquidity, of course. But if we zoom in even more, I also liked what happened here. We broke our structure, we tested it back, and from there, really take a close look at this one. That is because we have made a high, a low, and we traded above the high. What people come into the market when you trade above a high? People that buy, of course, they see a break, they're gonna FOMO, and that makes it interesting for all of those people who've bought in this move to actually go back towards that low and take them out, and then continue to trade in the desired direction, which in this case is up. So you could also still argue that if you still hold this, because of what happened here locally, that brought you also above that one, that if we hold this, we could just still trade up. So what do you want to see? This is beautiful that's happening. You want to see keep creating this liquidity on the highs. Test it, change of character, and you can continue to trade towards the supply. You can see this price action always, not always, most likely when there's grindy price action like this, you can look to the left and you can see this is also clear support and resistance. But because of these two lows, I also want to sketch in this scenario. POC is there, so we could just do this, take it out, and actually start ripping from there. I'm not really interested in going lower here. You want to hold strong with what we have done. You want to make... You've made the higher high. You just want to make the higher low for another higher high. We are still making the swing high. So it's up until proven otherwise. The swing high could be all the way over here. Then we continue till here. Then we correct and then we start blasting. It would align with this structure. For now, we're still moving in this swing, and we want to look locally for longs if they are given, or else the scenario here is active. And of course, if we do manage to fill, or we could reject from this supply here, we also have this scenario, which is, I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to give it away, but if they are, then man, you have to be sharp at some good spot buys and some good leveraged longs. Man, I cannot just do a normal analysis like a quick short one on an XRP. Stream has started and I'm already talking 20 minutes just about XRP. I don't know why it happens. It's just my passion taking the upper hand there.